There was a really interesting comment in the comment sections today about a post that I made a while ago now, where a Cambridge Don, the dean of a Cambridge college, had preached a sermon in church about Jesus as a trans figure. Well, I think that basically the dean was nuts and was conflating religious medieval art with gender theory and leaping on a bandwagon. Was Jesus trans? Almost certainly not. Was Jesus gay? Well, that question has also been asked. We can think of the beloved disciple and so on. Should people see themselves in Jesus? Well, that is exactly the Christian concept. So from that point of view, these questions are sort of pertinent. But there is no evidence of a trans Jesus. And the artistic sources that the dean was referencing have their own explanation. And there is a story which comes down through tradition that the loincloth worn by Jesus on the cross was actually Mary's veil that she pinned up on the cross to preserve her son's modesty. It's rather a lovely story. And that accounts for the diaphanous veil which is often found on late medieval paintings. It's got nothing to do with being trans. It's got to do with the development of Marian theology, Mariology sometimes known as this, and it's in the same realm as the development of the stories of Veronica and the Turin Shroud, and indeed the relics of the True Cross. It's all an offshoot of identifying oneself with the suffering Christ, which in turn is an offshoot of the very rich theology of theosis. Theosis is that God became man, that man may become God by identifying with Jesus. It's man has a mission to become perfect. Be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect. But we also recognize no one is perfect but God alone. So that ambiguity is evangelical. That ambiguity is in the Gospels. And St. Athanasius's chiasmus, God became man that man may become God, is then a development of that, and the images of the crucifixion and so on are further developments of the imitatio Christi and the imitation of Christ, the following the way of Christ, which we see in the example of St. Francis of Assisi in the West, and plenty of examples in the East. And it's so distressing when mad academics put out theories which are partly true, and I think they're there simply to shock the public. And they succeed. And, I remember the Bishop of Durham years and years ago putting out stuff which all sounded so new and so bold and so shocking. Well, it had been in print for about 20 years by that stage. And, it's just a footnote of academia. Doesn't need to be thumped out on the pulpits as if it's something new. Sensationalism we should reserve for the Daily Mail.